and welcome our blood viewers to RTD's News English Edition. As usual, we bring to you the major and top highlights of tonight. The President of the Republic receives the Ivorian Minister for Women, Family and Children. National Conference for Administrative Reform, Spectra Minister of Labor. And on the international scene, Israeli aggression claims 12,300 lives so far in Gaza. Those were the major and top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The head of state, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, received the Ivorian Coast Minister for Women, the Family and Children, Madame Nassemba Touré, at the Palace of the Republic mid-morning on Sunday. She was in Djibouti as part of a 48-hour working mission to strengthen relations of friendship and cooperation between the two countries and peoples. The presidential audience served as an opportunity for Mrs. Touré to take stock of the cooperation framework defined with her Djiboutian colleague, the Minister for Women and the Family, Madame Muna Usman Aden, with a view to significantly developing partnerships and collaboration between the two countries in areas linked to promotion of women, the family and children. Above all, these talks with the head of state enabled the two parties to record important additions to the conclusions of their work, in particular to the partnership agreement signed between them. The Republic of Djibouti and the Ivory Coast are determined to increase the levels of trade and cooperation. The similarity in having major assists in a wide range of development fields argues in favor of increased strategic partnership between them. In addition to Djibouti's Minister for Women and the Family, Madame Muna Usman Aden, the Ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to the Ivory Coast, Mr. Mohamed Burhan Ali, took part in the meeting. The Honorary Consul for the Republic of Ivory Coast to the Republic of Djibouti, Mr. Tommy Tayaro, also took part in the audience. Ivory Coast's Minister for Women, the Family and Children, Madame Touré, expressed her optimism at being granted an audience with the President of the Republic. She expressed Ivory Coast's commitment to strengthen cooperation ties with the Republic of Djibouti and to working to promote women's rights and well-being of families. The delegation from the Ivory Coast, led by the Minister of Women, Family and Children, Mrs. Nassemba Touré, who arrived in Djibouti on Friday, November 17, 2023, continued their tour of the Daryl Nursery, the Child Protection Center at the National Union of Djiboutian Women, yesterday, Saturday. After the warm welcome that greeted the Ivorian Minister and her delegation, the Minister and the heads of the two centers gave their guests a tour of the children's room, the daycare center, and the rest of the areas fitted out for their well-being. During the various visits made by the Ivory Coast Minister, accompanied by her to the different child care services, she received detailed explanations of the nature of the work in these places for children. In turn, the minister expressed her delight at what she had seen of the high-quality services provided for children. The tour, the delegation visited the headquarters for the National Union of Djiboutian Women, UNFD, where it was warmly welcomed by the head of the UNFD and other civilian and military officials and Djiboutian women. The ministerial delegation was warmly welcomed to the rhythm of traditional song and dance by a hedge of civilian and military personalities. Here again, our guests were taking on a tour of the property to discover the opportunities available to Djiboutian women and girls for their personal development. After her welcome address, UNFD Secretary General, Madame Fatouma Moussa, explained the vital role played by UNFD in the country's development in general and in improving the status of women in particular. Under the patronage of the Prime Minister, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, the Ministry of Labor, Formalization and Social Protection organized this morning a national colloquium on administrative reform on the theme, a participatory and equitable reform at the service of sustainable development. The colloquium will last 3 days at the People's Palace. The opening ceremony was attended by the President of the Assembly, Mr. Delita Mohammed Delita, members of government, members of parliament, the Executive Secretary of the Administration Reform, the UNDP representatives, several senior ministry officials and regional representatives. The main objective of this reform are to stabilize state revenues by reinforcing a computerized system for the Ministry of the Budget, inspire private investment, reduce unemployment, promote entrepreneurship, and create a one-stop shop for the Ministry of Economy and Finance. Enhanced managerial capacity for the Ministry of Commerce, reinforcing the capacities of public servants through the Citizen Service Declaration Charter for the Ministry of Labor. Indeed, these 3 days of workshops should lead to the emergence of proposals on the modernization of the administration, leading to a realistic and achievable priority action plans, according to the international experts who quotes Henry Bergson, "The future is not what is going to happen, but what we are going to do." The Ministry of Labor, Mr. Umar Abdi Said, for his part, condemned a form of imperialism and hoped for a far-reaching reform which, through the conclusion of this symposium, would lead to better management of human resources, the digital transformation of public administration, and a change in work culture, and the development of an inclusive public services, said Umar Abdi Said, the Minister of Labor in charge of formalization. And for his part, the Prime Minister salutes the progress made, such as the reform of the tax system, the promotion of good administrative governance, the reforms of public enterprises, and the motivation of public servants thanks to the revision of substantial legal frameworks, including the revision of the Civil Service Statute. Still on the national scene and under the leadership of the Minister of Communication in charge of Posts and Telecommunications, Mr. Radwan Abdullahi Bahdon, the Minister of Communication, in charge of Posts and Telecommunications in collaboration with the International Telecommunication Union, organized this morning a training session on broadband ICT infrastructure development for Arab states, which will run from November 19 to 21, 2023 at the Djiboutian Palace Kempinski, delivered by ITU trainer Mr. Arablino E. Silva. This hands-on training courses aims to develop participants' knowledge and skills in business planning principles and their practical application in the context of supporting political and regulatory decision-making in infrastructure development. The course will cover the main aspects of the topic, such as estimating demand, expected revenues and operating costs, defining investment parameters, definitions related to the weighted average cost of capital, and public financing mechanisms for ICT infrastructure projects. The fifth session of the Djibouti-Saudi Joint Committee at expert level kicked off this morning at the Hotel Kempinski. The opening ceremony was co-chaired by the Ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti and the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Ad-Din Said Ba Makramah, and the Undersecretary of the Saudi Ministry of Transport and Logistics Services, Dr. Mansour Al-Turki. The two-day Joint Committee discussions will focus on ways of strengthening and developing foreign relations and joint cooperation between Djibouti and Riyadh in various fields. The two sides will also review bilateral cooperation between Djibouti and Saudi Arabia to assess the achievements made since the previous season. The convening of this periodic joint committee is part of an ongoing process of coordination and consultation on all the plans adopted jointly by His Excellency the President, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of the Republic, and the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman, to achieve and embody spiritual cooperation and to discuss ways of increasing the volume of trade between the two brotherly countries. As part of a technical assistance project financed by the French Development Agency and implemented by French expertise, the Central Bank of Djibouti organized a seminar on the challenge of combating money laundering and terrorist financing. This workshop is launched by the government of the Central Bank and was attended by a representative of the Central Bank of Mauritius, the AFD, an expert from the Bank of France, as well as national representatives from the various sector concerns. The aim of this mission was to prepare for the assessments, which including assuring the level of awareness of assessment issues with the financial arrangements put in place at the national level, to monitor the assessment and meeting with the different bodies to understand the articulation and the respective roles of each. In a spirit of generosity and fraternity, the youth of the Randa sub-prefecture are showing their unfailing support Through an exemplary initiative, a fundraising campaign for Palestinian solidarity inspired by the spirit of cooperation and mutual support, these committed young people gathered at the Randa Community Development Center, CDC, determined to make a concrete difference. Without a doubt, this event bears witness to a solidarity movement that is gaining strength within the local community, proving the unity in action and transit borders and touch lives. This surge of generosity initiated by young people aims to respond to the call of solidarity launched by the President of the Republic of Djibouti, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, in favor of the Palestinians in Gaza. Through these gatherings, local youth are mobilizing in their turn, contributing to their stone to the edifice of the Palestinian cause. The chain of solidarity is a brilliant replication of collective awareness and the burning desire to contribute to a cause greater than oneself. This initiative, named a yellow coin for a young person in Gaza, symbolizes the hope and tangible contribution of the community to help young people in Gaza. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, the government media office in Gaza announced on Saturday that Israeli aggression have claimed 12,300 lives, including some around 5,000 children and 3,300 women since October 7. The government office said at its daily press conference that the death toll in the Gaza Strip stands at 12,300 martyrs, including more than 5,000 children. The statement added that the death toll among medical personnel has reached 200, including doctors, nurses, and paramedics. In addition, 22 members of the civil defense forces were martyred along with 56 journalists. Well, but this, our blood viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.